Hello. Good morning. Shh, shh. It's okay. You're all right. Thank you. Thank you for joining me this morning. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Today we're going to be creating one of my very first videos. It's about 9 years old, but I'm going to change it up and make it a little bit better. So we're going to create some drawers and then put them together so that they can work as a set of drawers. And as you notice, mine are different size now. So that I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. The first one that I made a while back, they were all the same size. So I'm going to show you how I made these and then we'll put them together. It's super simple, so this is not going to be a very long live at all. It's just going to go together and then you have a lovely little set of drawers, and you can make as many as you want. And if you want to, you can very easily make them all the same size as well. Okay, so what we're going to start with is I have 3 pieces of cardstock. This is 110 pound, and I'm going to use 2 different kinds. I'm going to use 110 to make the drawers, and then I'm going to use regular cardstock to create the covers for the drawers, essentially. But if you don't have 110 pound, you can easily use the regular cardstock, or if you don't have the other one, you can use 110 for all of them. So let's go ahead and get started. So the finished size of my drawers are 3 by 5. So I started with that to decide how I wanted to do it. And then I knew that I wanted to make one that was 1 inch deep. And then each one varies by 1/2 inch. So this one's 1.5 inch. And then this one is 2 inches. So I started with that measurement, my 3 by 5. And that is how I decided to create the rest of them. Okay. So if you start with a measurement of what size you want your drawers, then from there you can just add on for the sides. So to make yours exactly the same as mine, you're going to go with 1 piece that is 5 by 7, 1 piece that is 6 by 8, and 1 piece that is 7 by 9. And like I said, you can add more drawers if you want to, or you can create them all the same size. It's your project. Make it how you want to. I'm going to make mine for a friend, and I'm going to fill it with goodies to send to them. And also, I should let you know that I am going to use this new Simple Story paper pad. I'm using, I am using this 6 by 8 paper pad to make mine, what's it called? Cozy Days. I saw it in the store and I was like, okay, I want to use that one to make something. And so I had to run and get it. It's very cute. It's very fall. So that's what we're going to use. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I have talked enough. So I'm going to get my scoreboard and I'm going to start off with the least deep drawer. And we're going to score this one at 1 inch all the way around. Whoops. 110 pound paper. Especially this craft paper is a little bit harder to score. One inch all the way around. Just like that. So this one here was 5 by 7 and I scored it at 1 inch all the way around. Okay. This one here is 6 by 8 and I'm going to score it at 1.5 inches all the way around. Okay. And then my last one is 7 by 9. And this one I'm going to score at 2 inches. go. Now we have all of our boards scored. We're going to place our scoreboard out of the way. And I'm just going to grab my bone folder because I do need to use it to score these. Whoops. And some scissors. Now what we're going to do is on the long side, I'm going to cut up on the score mark to the score mark that is already there. And then I'm just going to angle cut the square that I cut off first. Okay, so again, I'm going to cut up to the first score mark, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to cut at an angle the square. Okay, this is really similar to making boxes, so you probably know how to do this, but just in case, I'm going to cut up again. And once you get the hang of it, it's very easy and you can go really quick. I'm going to cut all of mine first, and then we'll put them together. Okay. Again, I'm cutting just the score mark. I'm cutting up the score mark. And then I'm cutting an angle off of it. Just like that. Okay, again, up. And in. Okay. Up. And in. Simple and easy. Okay, then I like to do all of my folds before I start gluing because it's easier if they're already folded. I just crease them all at the same time. Like so. Whoops. Okay. Like that. There we go. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is grab, you can seal it however you want. I'm going to go ahead and use my wet glue. And I like to get out some paper clips because I use the paper clips to help hold it together while it's drying. So I'm going to start with this one, and I put the glue on both tabs on the same side, and then push them in and line up the edges, squeeze them really hard, and then I throw a paper clip on it. And then there we go. Fold these guys in, and then apply my adhesive to the tabs. If you're using tape, you don't need to paper clip it, obviously. I like to use wet glue because I do think that when it dries, it hardens nicely and adds a little bit of stability. But I use my tape runner to put the papers on and everything, so it's... There we go. Next one. It's really easy to do this kind of in a assembly order. Just start putting it together, and then by the time you are finished putting the glue on the last one, the first one should be dry enough to work with. Okay. And I do like to make sure that I put one paper clip as close to the edge as I can because it helps to hold it. You want it to be really close to the edge when it's dry so that you have a nice clean edge. So I try to make sure that I have some glue next to the edge, and then I put a paper clip next to the edge so that the front part will be nice and clean and neat and no paper hanging off of it or anything. Okay. Set that one aside, and then the last one, I'm just going to, whoops. All right, whoops. Almost there. Sorry, you gotta watch the boring part so that I can get to the fun part. Okay. I also prefer to put my pattern paper on with tape because sometimes I feel like it can wrinkle a little bit easier. When this 110-pound cardstock, it doesn't wrinkle, and I feel like for the 110-pound, this wet glue is really good. But I don't like the way that it looks when the moisture of the glue crinkles your paper. All right, so we got these. Now, while these are drying, let's go ahead and start. We'll just throw the pattern paper on because I have them ready to go. And then, because I don't want to create, I don't set a measurement for my wrap to go over it because shh, Elsa, we don't need to bark. We don't need it. Hey, come here, puppy. Come here, Elsa. I know there's a dog barking outside. That's okay. If you're going to bark, I'm going to put you out of my room. I'm sorry about that, guys. There's a dog barking outside, and so, of course, that sets off my dogs. Okay. So what we're going to start with is I have a piece of gold paper. It's just regular. It's white on the back. It's not even cardstock, I don't think. And I cut it, I cut it to just a little, hey, come on now. I cut it to just a little bit smaller than the front of my box. So this one here was 1 inch by 3 inches. So this here was 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. And then this one, the pattern paper to go over that, was 1/4 of an inch smaller than that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and put tape onto the gold paper. And if I felt like being really fancy, I would sew it, but I don't feel like sewing today, so I'm not going to sew. Then I'm going to take and put some adhesive on the gold paper, and then I'm going to stick the gold paper right on the front of my drawer. Now, if you don't want to put an extra piece, if you don't want to do all that extra matting of having a whole nother piece, then just cut one piece of pattern paper, which is what I did to these ones. I just have one piece of pattern paper on it, no gold, no nothing, and that looks just fine too. The craft paper is the border around that then, you know. With this one, I just wanted to get a little bit fancier because this is the one I'm going to send off to a friend. So I did the gold. Okay. And I did that for all 3 of my boxes, and each one, like I said, is 1/8 of an inch smaller and then 1/4 of an inch smaller. Okay. Oh, I did that wrong. Whoops. I like to put the pattern paper on the gold first and then stick it to the drawer, because it's all lined up already then. Okay. Also, if you wanted to put some drawer pulls on, you could do that too. I chose not to do drawer pulls. I'm going to do notches. I don't know if you can see. There's a notch in there. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you how I do that too. Okay, then we're going to do the last one. And then this guy's going to go right on here. Just like that. All right. Then I'm going to take, I have just a circle punch. I don't even know what size. It might be 1 inch. Yeah, it could be 1 inch. But it doesn't matter because I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of it just to create a thumb pull. And I like to do that after I put the pattern paper on, so that I cut it all together. I'm sorry, Maya, did that scare you? And I'm just kind of eyeballing it as best I can for the center spot. And you can see how much I'm doing. I'm not doing very much at all. Okay. There's our drawers. Oops. Just got one more step. We gotta line the inside of the drawers. And these are cut to 2 7/8 by 4 7/8, just 1/8 of an inch shorter than the box. Okay. Make sure those are stuck down a little bit, and there we go. Now I'm going to remove the paper clips from this one. And then I have a piece of paper here, and this is not 110-pound cardstock. And the reason that I did that is because I don't like to fold 110-pound cardstock as much. And also, I just needed this to be a thin piece because I just need this to wrap around to create the shelves. Okay, so this is cut to 5, and it's by 11 still, but I'm going to cut it down after I measure it. I just didn't want to do pre-measuring on this one. So here's how I do my wrap so that it fits nicely. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my paper in here, and I'm going to make a score mark at 4. Okay. Then I'm going to fold that up and put it all the way to the edge. Then I put my drawer in there, and I push it as far as I can to the edge. And then I make a score mark where that happens to end up, and that happens to be at the 3 1/8. Then I'm going to score that. Okay. Then my next thing is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to push that up there against the corner again. I like to use the corner of mine because it gives me something to push up against. Okay. Now for this one, we don't want it to be a whole 1/8. So I'm going to push it all the way up, and then I'm going to bring my line back to there we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to bring my drawer back a little bit. I'm just going to pull it back until the bottom of my drawer lined up with my 1/8. And then just because I like to make sure that it's straight, I bring it out and then line it up so that I know that I'm straight because I'm putting it along the top. Does that make sense? Let's do it again here. I know I do this really, really weird rather than making my own measurement, because I found that every time I depend on my own measurement, then when it wraps, it's either too tight or it's too loose, and I just can't get it to fit right. So I'm putting it in here. I'm making sure that my drawer is shoved all the way up to the top of my paper. And then I'm just going to take the whole thing and I'm going to slide it back just a little bit so that the bottom of my drawer here is right at a place where I can make a score mark. I'm just going to make a little notch, and then I'm going to bring it down here till that notch lines up with a line where I have a line. And the reason that I do that instead of just go all the way is because then I can make sure that it's straight. Okay, so now we have this. We put our drawer in, and it should, whoops, I forgot to do that fold. Okay, we put that in, and it should And it does fold very nicely around it. Okay. Now I don't want all this extra paper because it will just add bulk to mine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it off. I'm just going to make 2 little marks and I'm going to cut, but I still need it to overlap so that I have something to adhere it to, because you do not want to adhere this to your drawer. Okay. So all I did is I just made 2 little marks kind of where they would still overlap. I'll show you now. We put this on here like this, cross this over and cross this over, and you can see that they will still overlap. Okay. And then when you put them in here now, you do not want to close it super tight. You still want to be able to very easily slide the drawer in and out. So keep that in mind when you're adhering it, okay? I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to grab another piece of paper and I'm going to make my score mark at 4, just like I did before. Make my score mark at 4. Then I'm going to take my next one. Make sure you take your paper clips off because that will affect your measurement. I'm going to take my paper clips, put them away. Then I'm going to take my board or my drawer and I'm going to shove it all the way over to the corner. And that's going to give me a score mark for right there. Just going to slide it down and complete my score. And then, so now if you wanted to measure, you could try to measure it. What you know now is that these sides are 1.5 inches, but you want to give it a little bit more too, so that it will go all the way around it. Not a lot more, just a little bit. But this is how I like to do mine. So I'm going to do the same thing. And turn this back so you can see what I'm doing. I'm putting it all the way up to the side, pushing it all the way up there. But what that does is that puts me in the middle of one of these score marks. So what I've got to do is I've got to bring it down until the bottom of my drawer is at a score mark so that I can make a score. Okay. Then I just move it, bring it down here, and finish off my line just like that. Okay, let's do it one more time. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to put my drawer in here again. Shove it all the way up to the side so that I know that it's lined up where it's supposed to be. And then bring it down so that the bottom is right at a score mark. Then I do this. There we go. Then I fold those 2. And then this should wrap around nicely. It should fit really good on the sides, but not too snug. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to cut right there. And then on the bottom, I'm going to cut right there. And then I'm going to take this off and I'm going to cut there and there. And now I'm going to wrap this around. I messed up. I cut too much off. I thought I was going to do that. That's okay. We'll make it work. I will just attach this to it. So it'll be fine. It will be fine. It's okay. I don't want to do it again. So I'm just going to make it work. I was afraid I was doing that. But of course, did I stop to check? No. Okay. I'm going to line those up. I'm going to make sure that it's not too tight. Remember, we don't want it to be too snug. And none of this is going to show anyway. So the only people who are going to know that I did it are me and you. There we go. Okay. Make sure your drawer goes in and out nicely. That's perfect. And then we're going to do our last 1. Oh no. Put all of these away. I'm going to make my first score mark at 4. Bring it in here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put it right up there. Oh no, I messed up. There we go. We want to do that. There we go. Okay. Same score mark. Okay. We fold up both of those and then fold this back so you can see. We put this on the edge like that. And we're going to make our sideways score mark. And again, now you know that measurement is 2. So if you don't want to mess with it this way, you can very easily just, what I would do is I would put my first score mark here at the 4. And then I would put my score tool at the 6 1/8. But I would slide the paper just a hair because you don't want to do a whole 1/8. You just want to do a little bit. Okay, but that's why I like doing it this way, because I know I'm going to get a good measurement. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Bring this up, put her in there, pull it to the closest mark, make a little score mark, and morning, Mary. Wow, everybody that's joining me is from California. That's kind of funny. I am in Minnesota. All right. Now this guy is going to wrap around there. And I'm not even going to cut any because I don't want to mess up again. And also because it's just a little bit over. Okay. So now we've done that. Now we put these together. What I like to do is I take my piece off and I put a little adhesive on one side and then I fold this one in and I put the adhesive on the top. On one side you're going to put it on the under and the other you're going to put it on the top. It's a little chilly today. I'm pretty sure that we have hit the beginning of our fall. It always happens so suddenly. One day it's 80 and then the next it's cold. It's weird to me. It's every year it's the same, but we hit 50 today, which is pretty chilly. And then we're supposed to be 60 the rest of the week, which is kind of nice. I'm ready for a little bit of a cooler weather. So my drawer slides in and out nicely. And the more that you do it, the more that it'll slide in and out too. Okay, and then we've already put that one together. And then our last one. I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive on the underside of one. And then I'm gonna bring this like that. Put my drawer in here. Close this over, close this one over, but remember, not too tightly. If you go too tight, your drawer won't come in and out easily, and you want it to come in and out easily like that. Oh yeah. You know, 50 is a little bit chilly. Like, I'm a little chilly, and I closed the windows today, but it's nice not to have the air on, so that's good. Just last week we had to turn the air on again and it was hot. So I've heard that California was pretty hot in the last few days, but you don't have the mugginess, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is take the drawers out of our slides. All 3 of them. Okay. And then I'm going to take my bottom one and I'm going to lay it down and apply adhesive. Like so. Then I'm going to take my second one and I like to fold it so that I'm working on the same thing. And then I stand it up so that they're both level. They'll both be the same on the bottom. This part is a little bit harder and you kind of got to get it right because you want them to line up. So what I'm doing here is I am lining up the outside edge. Then I'm going to stand it up. And then when you stand it up, they should all line up. So there we go. Got that? There we go. Okay. I'm going to lay it down again. And this time I'm working on the middle one. I'm going to apply my adhesive to the top portion of it. Like so. And then I'm going to take my top one and I'm going to line it up just like that. Stand it up so I know they line up. There we go. And then I'm going to lay it down and make sure it's stuck down. And then there we go. Now we have all of our slides connected, all of our drawers. Once you put your drawers in, it will add stability to it, but we're also going to put 110-pound paper on the outside. Thank you. There we go. There's our boxes. Now what we want to do is we want to sturdy up the sides. You can sturdy up the top and the bottom if you want to. And I might put some legs on when I'm finished decorating it. But for now, I'm not going to put any legs on it. But I am going to show you how I sturdy up the sides. So I've got here a piece of 110-pound cardstock. And I'm going to... Well, duh, I don't need to measure it because I know this is 5 inches. So that was pretty silly. You could measure it though, if you don't know for sure. So I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to cut this at 5 inches. Make sure not to go over 5 inches. Like so. And then I'm going to cut this one at 5 inches because I need 2 of them. 1 for each side. And then to get this measurement, you can add this. This is 2, 1.5, and 1. So you could add that if you want to. But I like to, let's see, stand it up. And then I put my paper there. Take my pen and just draw a light little line. And then I take and lose my line. That was pretty silly. I drew a line and I legit lost it. Don't you hate when you draw a line to measure your stuff? I love fall too. Fall is my favorite. It's my favorite season. Well, followed really closely by spring, but I do love fall. And then, so fall papers are my favorite too. That's why I decided to use them. They're so pretty. Pretty dark, deep colors and fun leaves and just so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to cut this. And then I'm going to You could use wet glue if you wanted to too, but I'm just going to use this because I have it here. I'm going to attach this to the side, and then you're going to see that it's going to add a whole lot of stability to it. Oh, I must not have cut very straight because I have a little sticking off the top and I didn't like that. Okay, then we'll take this one. Oh, fabulous. Hate when I run out of tape right when I'm filming. It never seems to fail. Nope, that's not tape. Let's see here. Well, I guess I can fill it up just as quickly as I could try to find other tape. So we'll do that. Sorry, guys. Okay, I thought I could fill it up quickly. Then, oh, fabulous. You've got to be kidding. I'll mess with that one later. Are you kidding me? What luck is that? I just ripped 2 of them trying to fill my tape. I just ripped the little tab right off of it. Okay, I have one more. Let's hope this one works. Come on. There we go. Sorry, guys. Never fails. If something can go wrong when you're filming, it will. And since I don't edit my videos either, then I generally have to start over and refilm the whole thing, which means I've got another half-finished project sitting here. At least this one's live. I can't stop this one and start over, so I'm just going to fill this up and move on. All right. Oops. All right, let's see. There we go. Okay. Then we take this guy and we stick it to the other side, not the same side. There we go. Then I like to pull out my drawers and I like to lay it on the side, but now you can see it's much sturdier too. I just want to make sure that it's stuck really well. And there we go. Okay. So then we're going to put these back in here. And now you have 2 pieces left over, which would work really well for the top if you wanted to put something along the top just to make it a little bit sturdier as well. But you don't have to along the top if you don't want to. You could decorate it if you want to. Oh, you already made one of these, huh? Anyways, so there's our drawer. I am going to decorate this, and I'm going to create the things to fill the box that I'm going to send to someone. And then I will share another video with it finished. Oh, I forgot to tell you, if you want to, it would be good to put something on the back so that they can't go through like that. A piece of pattern paper, or not a piece of pattern paper, I'm sorry, a piece of this lightweight paper. If you're going to do that, I would do that before you put on your outsides, just because then it's hidden. But also I am going to put pattern paper over this too, so I could hide it that way. I forgot to do it before I put them on, but I would put a piece back there like this, so that at least it will stop them from coming out, you know. So anyways, I really appreciate that you guys all joined me for this short little live. I will film a video of this project when I'm all done and show you how I finished decorating it and how I filled the inside. But this is what the front looks like, and I think it turned out really nice. I do love these papers. They're very pretty. Very fall. So if you guys have any questions, or if you don't have any questions, we can end this. If you have questions, go ahead and ask them. If you're watching this in the recording, then leave your comments or your questions down below, and I will try my best to answer them. Bye-bye. Oops.